Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel all about Alex, and if you're new here, welcome. Today's video is going to be a recap of all of our 25th wedding anniversary festivities. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please stick around and here we go. So we celebrated our actual anniversary night by going out to dinner and just spending some quality time together. We went to a restaurant called Cooper's Hawk Winery, and it was really good, and the service was awesome. And so for our trip this year, we chose to go to Chicago, which is one of my favorite cities. And we just had such a great time. We checked into our hotel, which was the DoubleTree, right in the Magnificent Mile area, where a lot of the shops and restaurants are. And the hotel was beautiful. And my husband always does a great job with finding us nice places to stay. And we just really enjoyed this trip. So I wanted to share it with you guys. And I hope that you guys enjoy. So we had to get it. Get it. I figured you're gonna be in Chicago. I thought it was gonna be nice. It's more like a dressy outfit. Shorts. You could probably say that for the cruise. That all goes together. That all goes together. You're welcome. Happy anniversary. You got one more gift, but it didn't. I'm still waiting.
So birthstones with your name and my name on it.
Both of our birthstones. Oh.
Yeah, I think that was mine.
No, I'm the purple.
Okay.
That's so cute.
And the silver.
Thank you.
It's tiny though. Now that one, I saw it. Yeah, I'll look at that one. I saw it and just had to get it. That's part of my Amazon. Stuff I bought from Amazon with that plaque.
You got issues. I do love bugs. And then after opening our gifts, we decided to grab something to eat and just relax for the rest of the night and just enjoy each other and prepare for the next day. So the next day we went out sightseeing. We walked and walked and walked and we talked, and it was just so wonderful. We saw a lot of things that we hadn't seen the other times that we went to Chicago. So that was nice. The weather was beautiful and we just really enjoyed the sights and sounds of Chicago. And if you guys have any questions about any of the sites that you see during the video, just check out my description box. I'll try to have as much information there as I can, or you can just leave me a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you. And of course, hubby had to check out Michael Jordan's restaurant. That is his favorite player. The Bulls are his favorite team. And at all the times that we've been to Chicago, we never saw it. So it was great to see it this time.
Chicago considered to be one of the top 10 most beautiful skylines in the world. I am biased. I think it's the most beautiful, but it isn't arguably one of the top made possible by a tragedy. On October 8, 1871, the city of Chicago caught on fire. At the time of the fire, the population was 300,000. During the 2 days of the fire, 1/3 of the city burned to the ground. What that means, 17,000 homes and businesses were destroyed, leaving 100,000 people homeless, and 250 people died. It was a tragedy by any stretch of the imagination. It was also an opportunity, because it gave us a second chance to build a second city. And that's why we're called the Second City. Not because we're second to New York, as they would have you believe, but because we literally built a second city on the ashes and debris of the first city. A little bit more history. If you go across that bridge, that's the approximate location of Fort Dearborn. In 1803, the federal government built us a fort. In 1812, it was destroyed in a fire during the War of 1812. Across the river at street level is the London Guarantee and Accident Building. Completed in 1923, the architect is Alfred Altschuler. And it is in a style that we call faux art. Faux art is defined by having a decorative base, stack of floors, decorative top. Now the home to the London Hotel, which is a boutique hotel that got its name from the jazz club that used to be in there, called the London House. Right now I gotta tell you about this body of water we're on called the Chicago River. At its deepest point, it's 22 feet deep. It used to flow into Lake Michigan, which was and is our source of drinking water. In the 1800s, we treated this river like a toilet. We used it to discharge all of our industrial, animal, and human waste. These are the pictures of chickens walking across the Chicago River. Now, there's a rumor that Oprah Winfrey lived there. Oprah never ever lived there. She might have started the rumor herself because she lived at Water Tower Place and she just didn't want people to know where she lived because she's Oprah. Across the street is Navy Pier, built in 1916. It was originally called Municipal Pier number 2. There never was a number 1. Chicago. It is apartment, condo, hotel, retail, and office space. if you look up towards the top, it looks like it's not quite finished. That's called the blow-through floor. The building didn't pass the wind shearing test, so they left that open for the wind to go through like a vent. Without it, the top of the building could break off. So that's the thing. Built to celebrate 100 years of the formation of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. So what it really was a culmination of unfortunate circumstances. Chicago's been experiencing a drought. We've got about 1.5 inches of rain in 2 months. And in fact, the entire Great Lakes region was experiencing a drought. And there were fires throughout the fall in Chicago, including one the night before. So the firefighters were exhausted, and the equipment needed some repairs. Probably didn't help that everything in Chicago was hastily made out of wood. Buildings, bridges, streets, sidewalks, and pipes. And the fire started in the industrial part of town, which means warehouses. And in the path of the Great Chicago Fire, there was a warehouse that housed coal, and another one that housed matches.
Wow.
It got out of control pretty quickly. It's hard to imagine that Chicago looked like what you see when you see pictures of the West Coast wildfires. Luckily, it rained about 2 days later, and that extinguished the fire. Now, we started to rebuild right away, and we had a paranoia of burning to the ground. So to this day, Chicago has some of the strictest fire codes in the United States of America. And within a month of the Great Chicago Fire, the co-owner and publisher of the Chicago Tribune ran for mayor and won on the platform of the Fireproof Party. Now we wanted to become a world-class city. We found out the World Columbian Exposition was coming to the United States of America. And what a better way to put Chicago on the map than hosting a World's Fair. So we sent our very best politicians to Washington, D.C., and they lobbied their little hearts out. And we ended up getting awarded the fair, which was great for us, but it made New York a little bitter. And one of our journalists referred to our politicians as windy windbags in the windy city who are full of hot air. And that is why we are called the Windy City. Not because we're the windiest city in America, which we are not, but because our politicians are full of hot air. I find this to be very unfair. If you know anything about Chicago politics, or Illinois politics as a whole, we are known for having some of the most honest, above-board politicians you could ever hope to vote for while they're under indictment. Hey, we started a new city council a couple weeks ago, and not a single alderman is currently under federal indictment. Oh no, there's one under investigation.
After a few weeks.
Now, the fair itself became one of the most important events in the history of Chicago, starting with Daniel Burnham, who planned what's famously known as the White City. It was on the south side in Jackson Park. It was comprised of 250 temporary buildings made out of material a little bit like drywall. He got so interested in city planning that he went on to be a city planner, and he planned many notable cities. Most importantly, his hometown is Chicago, and we are considered to be one of the best planned cities in the world. If you're enjoying our expansive boulevards, you can thank Daniel Burnham. The landscape architect was a guy named Frederick Law Olmsted. He's a bit of a rock star in parkitect circles. He designed Central Park, Prospect Park, the entire park system of Louisville, Kentucky, and the list goes on and on. So, back in 1893, we didn't have TikTok. So how do you get to tell people about the greatest innovations of the time? World's fairs. What were the greatest innovations of 1893? Well, the previous World Fair had been held in Paris. Does anybody know the centerpiece of the Paris Fair? Eiffel Tower. Burnham and the gang, they wanted to out-Eiffel Eiffel. So they found their very own structural engineering marvel called The Ferris wheel. That's right. Very first Ferris wheel in the world is right here in Chicago. It was over 200 feet tall, made partially out of wood. It had 60 gondolas, which held roughly 100 people each, and it took about an hour to get around. Other innovations include juicy fruit gum, Cracker Jack, the zipper, a little thing called electricity. I think that stayed current. And Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. Initially, just called Pabst Beer. They entered into a contest and they received a ribbon. So they renamed themselves so that we would all know they were an award-winning beer. If you've ever had PBR, you might be wondering, how bad was all the other beers? This is the beer that won. It was a participation ribbon.
Oh, wow.
All of the beers got a ribbon. So the fair lasted for 6 months. 27 million people came, which is roughly half the population of the United States of America at the time. And it turned a profit, which was the first World Fair to ever do so. We had another one in 1933 called the Century of Progress, and that was held on what we now call the museum campus. So that's where you can find the Shikaakwa, the Adler Planetarium, the Shikaakwa Adler Planetarium Museum, where the Tyrannosaurus Rex lives, and Soldier Field, which is where the Chicago Bears play currently. So, where misery lives.
And yeah, I really enjoyed this tour. It was actually called an architectural Chicago tour. And I love stuff like this. And my husband knows that. And so he booked this as a surprise for me. And I really enjoyed it. And I just appreciate that he went along with me, even though it's not as much of his thing. But it was just nice to be on the water and just hearing the history of Chicago, the city that I love. And then after that long boat ride, we had worked up quite an appetite. So we got a quick bite to eat, and then we finished the night with some cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory, and it was so good. And then, y'all, we went to the Coach store. There's an actual Coach store in Chicago. And I can't believe it, y'all. My husband bought me a Coach bag. I am not a bag person. Every nice bag I have, I've gotten from my husband. I go to the Goodwill, I go to Walmart, Target, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not a name brand person. But just the fact that he thought that I should treat myself and do something nice for myself was just touched my heart so much, guys. And I got the kind that I wanted. Pink is my favorite color. And I really love this bag. It's so, so cute. Just my style. And I am so grateful to my husband for pushing me to get it.
Fix yourself and realign yourself with the world, baby. Breathe slow, baby. Yeah. Ooh. We should breathe slow. We should breathe slow. We should breathe slow.
So once we finally reached our last day, we only spent a total of 3 days and 2 nights there. We decided to check out of our hotel and then go ahead and just see a little bit more before we got on the road to leave, and we went to Art Smith's restaurant. Now, Art Smith is, or used to be, Oprah Winfrey's personal chef. So I don't know if you remember him, white guy, heavy set. Anyway, the food was good. It was just neat to be in a restaurant of somebody that we grew to know through Oprah Winfrey. So that was awesome.